This discipline is always called market research or marketing research. That's typically the title of the chapter on this in every marketing textbook. But it really should be called, instead of market research, market information or marketing information, because there's more data, there's more information that's acquired to help make marketing decisions than just market research. And we can break it into a few things, starting with internal company data, and we'll look at each of these individually. Market intelligence, acquired databases, as well as marketing research. And now with technology, some very, very sophisticated computer software and hardware for marketing decision systems. So let's go ahead and take a look at those one at a time, starting with internal company data. Walmart has the largest non-governmental computer system in the world. They have a massive, massive, massive data center back near their corporate headquarters in Arkansas. Every single retail transaction from each of their stores gets sent back there to this massive, massive, massive data center and is analyzed. They know every way to Sunday what's going on in their stores. Walmart long ago realized that knowledge is power, information, and they analyze it extensively. McDonald's looks at their sales data very, very, very closely. Their POS, point of sale system, same thing for Walmart, generates data from every single individual transaction. Oreo, we talked about Oreo and market research earlier. Oreo has their shipping data to their customers, like their retailers, but they don't have the consumer data that goes from the retailers to the purchase by end consumers. So they take their internal company data, their shipping data, and they also merge that with acquired data that they get for so-called consumer movement indices. Marketing intelligence is information about others. So here's our definition: marketing intelligence systems, method by which marketers get information about everyday happenings in the marketing environment. That includes competitors and others in their industry. Acquired databases, you get those from outside. These are external databases used to collect a variety of information from different sources. Again, nowadays with computers, technology allows you to really manipulate that data. That's often referred to as a marketing decision support system. A marketing decision support system, this is data plus analysis and interactive software that allows managers to conduct analyses and find the information they need. There's so much data now, it's often referred to as big data. Well, marketing decision support systems, MDSSs, allow managers to mine through all of that data. Now, data mining applications in marketing include things like customer acquisition, getting new customers, customer retention and loyalty, and customer abandonment. Those appear to be the very, very biggest uses for data mining in marketing. But now let's go ahead and focus on marketing research. Marketing research is the process of planning, collecting, and analyzing data relevant to a marketing decision. Marketing research is the process of planning, collecting, and analyzing data relevant to a marketing decision. Again, if we don't have decisions to make, we don't have research to do. We can break market research up into three different types of research. There is descriptive research, diagnostic research, and predictive research. In descriptive research, you're gathering and presenting factual statements. You're trying to figure out the what. Now, with diagnostic research, you're explaining data. You're trying to figure out the why. With predictive research, you're addressing what if questions, oftentimes by manipulating the variables. You want to do market research to help make decisions, but you don't want bad market research to lead to bad decisions. And there are a number of examples of bad market research leading to very, very bad decisions. One of the worst was what happened with the people at Schlitz Beer when they were looking at changing their production process. Schlitz was looking at changing their production process. They didn't want to change the taste of the beer at all, but this change in the production process would allow them to save money in processing. But they wanted to do market research to make sure that consumers couldn't tell the difference. And so they did a paired comparison blind test, just like we had talked about with the lemon lime soda category and the Oreo cookie business. So what they did was they brewed up a batch of beer using their new process, brewed up a batch of beer using their old process, and put those in a paired comparison blind test. They had consumers try, we'll just call it old and new. They had consumers try old, they had consumers try new, and their research showed that people couldn't tell the difference. And so based on that, they converted over to the new process, and it turns out that actually consumers could tell the difference. They didn't like the new process. By the time Schlitz realized what the problem was, they'd already started to lose market share, and after they reverted back to their old process, they'd already started to go down that slippery slope of losing market share, and eventually Schlitz went bankrupt. And you can really kind of tie it all back to this bad market research project. Now, this begs the question, well, wait, why did this go wrong? I thought consumers couldn't tell the difference between old and new. It was a research methodology mistake. If you were paying very, very close attention when I was talking about the Oreo cookie research project, I said that they didn't take these cookies home and use them at home in a so-called home use test. They were straight out of the package. Well, that's what happened with the Schlitz research. They didn't give people Schlitz to take home. They brewed it right up and then did the research right there. Well, that's not real world. That's not how people consume products. What happens is the beer gets brewed, it goes through distribution, it goes into stores. People go into the store, they buy it, they take it home, they use it at home. Well, what Schlitz didn't realize is the new process, the beer degraded much, much, much faster than it did in the old process. But people were tasting, as part of the research project, brand new fresh beer. Uh, and that's not real world. In reality, it was like 6 weeks was the time frame between when the beer was brewed and when it went through distribution and was purchased and used at home. Well, after 6 weeks, the new process, the beer had degraded quite badly, and the people didn't like the taste of the new Schlitz. So that was a research mistake, that led to, well, eventually led to Schlitz's bankruptcy. Interestingly enough, there's another much more famous example of a market research mistake with a beverage product, and I'm talking about the market research that led to the introduction of perhaps the most failed new product in history, and that is New Coke. New Coke was such a failed product that it made the cover of Time magazine. How did the brilliant marketing people at Coke put together a research project that led to the biggest failure in history? Well, that's what we'll get into in the next module, as we look at the marketing research process. And in reality, New Coke's mistake was at the very, very beginning. The very, very first step in the marketing research process is to define the problem, and the people at Coke didn't define the problem properly.